This is the G Podcast with your host, Tommy B.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 249 of This is the G Podcast. Yes. Man, the curmudgeons, the curmudgeon is coming out of me, not me, by all y'all. It's the final taping. Yeah, you know what? I love the season, man. That's why I'm lightening up on y'all. I'm being relaxed. So, lots going on this week, and we're gonna talk about it. Jay-Z, maybe I'm gonna say might, okay, be entangled. The insurance vigilante is captured, and we lost a great poet, y'all. And I'm gonna say this before we get into the Nikki Giovanni discussion. I shared a birthday with her, had a chance to meet her, had a chance to work with her, man. My son had a chance to work with her. Just, she's funny as heck. I got a story when we start talking about. I'm gonna hold off until we get to the story. But man, we lost a great one in Nikki Giovanni. I can tell you that. Okay, y'all, it's the final taping of 2024 for all of us collectively, man. And man, I can't wait. We come back on January 11th. Again, to all y'all, welcome. This is the G Podcast. Each week, we recap your week with news, politics, pop culture, the piping hot tea from the one and only. Y'all give it up for Tanya B. Oops. Sound effects are going crazy. Sound effects are going crazy, Tanya B. I'm sorry. How you doing, Tanya B? Let me get it right. The one and only Tanya B. That's how you do it. What's up, Tanya B? How you doing?
I'm doing. Getting my holiday menu together and just waiting for this year to be over. I am the queen of bah humbug. I'll admit it.
I hear you. I'm gonna ask you why at the end. I'm gonna ask you why. Okay. All right, y'all give it up for the one and only. He is here, calling me whatever he wants to call me. Y'all give it up for Vi, the country commentator. Yes, Mayor Pro Tem of Columbus, Georgia. What's up, man? How you doing?
Oh, Tommy B. Everybody know who Tommy B is, don't
I hope so. If it were up to you, they wouldn't. But what's up, Tom? What's up, country commentator?
Inbox. I'll let y'all know. Inbox.
Okay, all right. Yeah, y'all inboxing. see what decade the answer's in. Yeah, there you go. Y'all give it up for the one and only Brain Supreme, Talib Shabazz is in the building. Talib, how you doing, man? What's up?
I'm doing great.
You having a good season? Everything good?
Well, yeah. Everything is progressing.
Okay.
But it's progressing.
It's progressing. Okay, good. All right, y'all. Hey, we got a lot on the menu. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and jump in the mic and we'll do the headlines. We got a lot to talk about. Definitely want to get some good feedback from y'all. So here we go.
News team, assemble!
For the Week in News with Syracuse Mike.
Oh, yeah, and let's go ahead and get into it.
There have been a number of rumors that several other high-profile celebrities would be caught up in the Sean Diddy Combs scandal. Now a woman who alleges that she was sexually assaulted by Combs has amended her lawsuit to include Jay-Z as a defendant. The lawsuit was first filed in October against Combs. Sunday, the woman added hip-hop giant and businessman Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter. He's been added as a defendant in the civil lawsuit.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it right now. Let's do a few more stories, and we'll come back to that at the end. But Trump is admitting everything right now. Now that he's won, let's go ahead and get it. He's already admitting he can't do anything about the groceries. Project 2025 is his favorite, and he's going to implement it. Yep. And of course, tariffs.
In a wide-ranging interview on NBC's Meet the Press, President-elect Donald Trump was asked about his proposal to place tariffs on Canada, China, and Mexico. And how about products and goods coming to the U.S. from countries hit with tariffs? Mr. Trump said he can't guarantee American families won't pay more.
I can't guarantee anything. I can't guarantee tomorrow. But I can say that if you look at just pre-COVID, we had the greatest economy in the history of our country. And I had a lot of tariffs on a lot of different countries.
Trump also said on his first day back in office he's looking to start issuing pardons to rioters from the January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol.
This dude, you talk.
And that was the
Damn.
Baldwin economy, not yours.
That's what I'm talking. It's just hilarious. It's just, let me stop. It's the holiday. 'Tis the season. Let me stop. And if y'all want to see why Vi has a smile on his face.
In sports, we now know who made it to the first 12-team college football playoff. The top 4 seeds are Georgia, Oregon, Boise State, and Arizona State.
So you happy, Vi?
Yes.
I knew you would be. I knew you would be. All right, so I mentioned I call him the insurance vigilante. So here we go.
They were calling him a person of interest. He is 26-year-old Luigi Mangione, and authorities are questioning him in connection to the fatal shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in New York last week. Mangione was being held on firearms charges in the town of Alatoona, which is located in central Pennsylvania. New York Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch explains how he was found.
The suspect was in a McDonald's and was recognized by an employee who then called local police. Responding officers questioned the suspect, who was acting suspiciously and was carrying multiple fraudulent IDs as well as a U.S. passport.
Mangione's last known address was in Honolulu.
You know, the interesting thing about this is this guy's family has money. I mean, he's a lot of money. Go ahead, Tanya B. Repeat that one more time.
Look at who his new attorney is. One of the most high-powered, hourly billing rate attorneys in the state of New York. Is the wife of, I think, the person that's defending Diddy. Also, what's interesting is his grandparents left him some ridiculous inheritance, and if he is found guilty of this crime, he doesn't get the money, but he comes from money.
Yeah, I mean, his grandfather owned elderly housing, and was involved in that, and came here as an immigrant. And built from nothing. No, he came here like I think he's Italian or of Italian descent. Yeah. What's that? What'd you say?
And of course he's Italiano. Yeah, but did y'all know his history a little bit though?
No, what do you mean, country commentator?
He said he had that disease, spondylosis. They say he had developed serious back pain, and because of the insurance, it took him so long to finally have surgery or something to get rid of the pain.
Yeah. And he wasn't with this healthcare company,
right?
But he looked at this healthcare company because they're the biggest.
They're the biggest.
Well, they're not only the biggest, but they have the highest rate of rejecting people's claims. So
yes,
people have been suffering because they wouldn't approve the claim for them to get, we really much needed medical treatment. So he was mad at it too.
Yep, so true. So we'll see what happens, but it's interesting. You know, how people are, again, I say vigilante because a lot of people look to him as a hero. Yeah, wow. I mean, you look at the memes. Have you seen, Talib, you've seen it, right? The memes, people. People are
some famous people have called him a hero, and that's a little scary.
I think that's a bit much calling him a hero.
Yeah.
But there you go.
This is like prison break.
Yeah, he killed the guy in cold blooded. That's a bit much.
I didn't hear Talib. What'd you call him? Talib? What'd you say?
I said this is like prison break 2.0.
Okay. Okay.
Prison break with the chick that everybody was like, "Oh my God, she's so hot."
Yes. Oh yeah, yeah. She was getting people, trying to marry her and all that. Yeah. Last thing on it, Tanya B. What you said?
I was going to say, look at the gun that he got. That was not something you just buy off the street. It wasn't, one of those ghost guns you make. That was like one of those guns they use in, the Hitman's Assassin type movie.
Yeah,
Hey, he's rich.
Yeah. I watched the movie. What was on Netflix? Just came out on Netflix. Carry On.
I haven't watched that yet.
Yeah, it just came out this week, and the guns and the devices. Yeah, that plastic gun. It's a gun that I think it's that type of gun where it can't be detected by anything. Yeah. So
yeah, they say the silencer were made for that.
wow,
Silencer.
that's crazy. That's crazy. All right, and of course, man, I hate this.
One of America's most famous and recognizable black poets, Nikki Giovanni, has died. She was a poet, an educator, writer, commentator, and activist. Giovanni was awarded an unprecedented 7 NAACP Image Awards and was nominated for a Grammy. She published her first poetry collection, Black Feeling, Black Talk, in 1968 and continued to work up until her passing. A book of poetry titled The Last Book is set to be released next year. Nikki Giovanni died Monday after a third cancer diagnosis. She was 81.
I am so glad we're getting one more work, out of her for 2025. And I'll tell you, because we're old enough to remember, whether we were, too young to know what was going on, but we were in the era of the Black Renaissance, the Black creative Renaissance, when you had Nikki Giovanni and the works of Gwendolyn Brooks. All those works were, just happening and front and center during the late 60s and the 70s. And I recall, she spent time in Atlanta. She was in the West End, the West End Shrine of the Black Madonna. I think she would always come to that bookstore whenever she was in town, whenever she was in Atlanta. And I had a chance to work with her, not in the 70s, but in the 90s. Well, actually, it's 2000s. I bought her to, in Macon. Okay. So, of all places, I bought. And let me tell you, she came in to talk about her work. She had a new book. She's on a book tour. And, Bush had just gotten into office, man. And we had a mixed crowd, right? So it's a mixed crowd, clients and everybody. She went off on Bush for like 30 minutes. The white people were getting up, walking out. It was hilarious how she went. I mean, I was like, I was like, oh shit. But it was funny. It was the way she was skewering Bush for, of course, the war, and she, and of course now she was right. So, just a spark plug, man. A little spark plug of a lady, but a great lady and just bigger than she was in stature. Rest in power. You were about to say something, Tanya B. Go ahead.
She came out, I guess that Renaissance. She even had Melvin Van Peebles. You had The Last Poet, the beginning of Gil Scott Heron. But again, those are all men. And, she was like the woman at the forefront. But also, I remember, and I know either she is the first or one of the first Black female women to get a major recording contract. She had that album out on Atlantic Records, and the thing I remember is that the poem Ego Trip.
Yes, Ego Trip.
Everybody knows Ego Trip. And I was maybe 9
I was born in the Congo.
Yeah. I can fly like a bird in the sky. No pun intended. But I remember that,
Yeah, just amazing, just an amazing time to be alive, man. And she lived some great years. I mean, and one quick thing about Nikki as well. She was at when the mass shooting happened. Was it at Virginia State? No, Virginia State, Virginia Tech. Which one was it? Because she taught there. Where she taught, she was on campus and there when it happened, when it was on lockdown.
Wow.
So when they reported the news. She was on the news. I think she was, giving her take on it because she happened to be on campus when the lockdown occurred. Yeah, like in the, definitely, it was before 2010. But remember, rest in power. Yeah. Hey, so got to ask you, we held off on the Jay-Z story. And I'll start with you first, Tanya B, because, you do the T. But I want everybody's take on this. What are you feeling about this whole Jay-Z, the allegations?
Well, here I say I did go and I watched that NBC interview, and a few things kind of caught my attention. Now, this woman says it happened when she was 13. She's now 38. But my thing is, you're on the spectrum. Do your parents not monitor your activities a lot more closely? Because I'm like, where's the mama? Number one. Number two, she talked about how she got away from Jay-Z and Puffy after they took turns on her, and she went to a phone booth. Where remains to be seen. But moreover, she said she called her dad, and her dad came to pick her up. The dad said she has no recollection of that. Okay?
Yeah.
The person that allegedly drove her the 5 hours from Rochester down to this party with the DMA, the court is no longer alive. And then she's claiming Diddy's limo driver told her to go to the party. So, not to say that people that are that have autism, and I know there's many different levels of it, that they don't have any, memory retention. I'm not saying that. But again, what 13-year-old has the mental capacity to go 5 hours, get a ride, go to this party, and if her dad came to pick her up, it might have been about 8 or 9 o'clock the next morning. Your mother didn't call the cops and say, my daughter's autistic and she's missing. She didn't come home last night. So there's just so many inconsistencies in this whole thing. And, the fact that she comes up out of Tony Busby is like the worst case scenario of a check chaser. Ben Crump is a church mouse compared to him.
Yeah.
So,
and I heard this was part of the 1-800, the 1-800 Diddy number. It came out of that, correct?
Yeah, but I think Busby was also like cherry picking people he thought might have, had a story. So this woman was all, nobody wants to, have their clock cleaned or the wig split, but she's not revealing who she is, and her voice was altered. I will say that much, but like you said,
was this? And I didn't see it. Was this the NBC? This was the NBC interview.
And if you're going, it's criminal. It's serious. Civil means you just facing a check. And when you think about check chasing, I know I think of Ben Crump, but now I just think of Tony Busby, and I don't have any empathy, not sympathy. I have no empathy for that man. Well, my kids are getting threatened. You know what? That's the price you pay when you made the decisions that George did. So go over there and sit down somewhere. And, I think this is they're going to poke more holes in her story than switching. And I kind of think it's going to go away. And as Roger Goodell said, they're not doing, and Jay-Z has not been proven guilty at this moment, but neither has Puffy. But because Jay-Z has this multi-million-dollar, multi-year contract with the NFL, he may wait till the 5 years are over. But for right now, I don't think there will be no repercussion or consequence with the NFL with Jay-Z. He's going to keep doing what he's doing with Live Nation. And, he's got like that machine and some others behind him to kind of protect it. And kind of, this is going to be one of those, go away type things. And I think this woman, I'm not saying that she wasn't there, but I don't think her recollection of the events that happened, because I still say with anybody who says I was drugged and knocked out and this, that, and the third, you really know what's going on when you claim all of these fine details of your attack, if you were under the influence of,
I got you. I'm going to go. I want to go to Talib.
I've never been a fan of Jay-Z, so I'm a little bit biased. I like some of the songs, but, I've never liked the way that he's conducted himself as far as the industry is concerned. I mean, he pretty much shit on the guy who put him on, Jazzo, left him hanging after he wrote Ain't No Nigga song. There's been stories of him floating around with Foxy Brown, while she was underage, recording all those songs with him. There was stories about him having an umbrella boy that used to go everywhere with him. So it's like, again, it's time that all of these freaks are exposed. And if he is just the latest one to go down, that's just what it is. You know what I mean? I have no, I don't want to see any man or woman with melanin being charged with these heinous crimes. However, if you did it, you gotta go. Fuck out of here. That's it.
And let me say this before I go to Vi. I don't have. I'm indifferent. Okay. I mean, really, I've seen him as a hit maker. I'm not a rah-rah, Jay-Z kind of guy. I'm not. But, I hate to see, just like you, Talib, because we've had so many. I mean, look at the number of black men that are going down who have owned these companies, run these companies, and if not billionaires, multimillionaires. I'm come back to you. And I'm not going the conspiracy route, but it looks, the optics look bad, and so with this situation, I do agree with Jay-Z to the point where she better have proof, and the other thing is the story is just being picked apart even by her own father. That's what, that's why I had to stop and say, whoa. So I think people have to really wait until all the evidence is in. The other thing, I think the difference between Jay and Puffy is the feds are involved with Puffy. So the feds don't get involved unless they know something, unless they have something that they're holding back for their case. Okay, they would not have gotten involved and done what they did at his home if there wasn't something that led them to believe that they needed to be involved. Y'all get what I'm saying? That has not happened to Jay yet. Is not to that point. So I'm not putting him in the same. I'm not putting him in the same bucket. We're gonna wait and see on that situation and go from there. I'm gonna go to you, Vi, and then I'll let you wrap it up, Talib. All right. Go ahead, Vi. Your thoughts. You got any thoughts?
I'm not a big fan of Jay-Z also, but I'm like you though. If you're gonna come at him, please have some strong proof.
Yeah.
Cause the stuff she got is just flimsy. Her daddy don't remember any of it. Now she's even saying that some of the facts are wrong. Dude, so why come out here like that? Because the kind of money Jay-Z got, you ain't got no strong case. You ain't got no case.
Yeah.
Because like you said, the thing about Puffy, but I got to tell everybody, when the fans get involved, it's a done deal.
Yeah, something's up.
So when the fans bring it out, the fans don't bring it out, let they know they got you.
Yeah.
So I'm with, if Jay-Z did do it, I would like to be, if he did do it, I want anybody who did that kind of stuff, they need to go down. If they did, they need to go down. But don't come out unless you got some strong proof. And the stuff they got on Jay-Z, man, I'm not even hearing it right now.
I'm going to go to you, Talib. Wrap it up for us, Talib.
Yeah, I just want to say, what is the expression? Power corrupts.
Oh, yeah.
And then absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yes.
That's what we're really, really looking at here.
Yeah.
People thinking that they can get away with certain things because of the Teflon money protection, or, I've done this and I've done that. I've bought this person off, that person off, and that's what we're really facing now. There are going to be a lot more people whose names are mentioned as these things continue. So don't be surprised. My thing is don't take a side. Let's just wait and see what the evidence produces, because, nobody wants to falsely accuse anyone of doing anything.
No,
so I'm not saying that Jay-Z is guilty. What I'm saying is there's enough smoke around this guy to say that there is a fire somewhere. And if they can find it, then great. Get him out of here. If they can't, then leave him alone.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you. Because, on the other note, when you're at that level, you deal with this all the time. Quite frankly, there's always a blackmail plot somewhere. If you're on that level, if you're a billionaire, you got blackmail plots daily, and you have a fixer to deal with it. And that's pretty much it. And you either pay them off or you do what you have to do to squash it. That's what billionaires do. That's part of being a billionaire or a millionaire in some cases. So yeah, go ahead. Last word on it, Tanya B.
People at that level are always moving targets, and everybody's not going to like you. So you know that you are in a fishbowl under a microscope. So I think they tend to take leave of their senses sometimes and forget that everything they do is magnified times 10.
Yeah, agreed. But everybody, it's just crazy to me, and I'll wrap it up. It's just crazy that everybody wants Jaguar to be right. Everybody wants, no pun intended, but they want Jaguar right to be right. That's the crazy thing about this, how people despise Jay. You know what I mean? They just want this to be true. They're like, oh, we got that nigga now. We got him. Oh, yeah. They want him.
The person that put her on to go down. So where's the logic in that? There's more to that story, and she's not being forthright about it.
But don't you think? Do y'all get that vibe that people just want this to be true?
Yeah. Because
people love to see people fall.
Right.
Wow. Damn. That's
that's the world we live in. People love to see people fall because they're jealous for one thing.
Yeah, so true.
Even if it's not the jealousy thing, it's the gossip thing.
Yeah.
People want to have something to talk about. You know what I mean? Let's give them something.
But that makes money.
Go ahead, Dan.
It makes money.
Yes,
It makes money. Even the clickbait makes money. True or not?
Yeah, so true. So true. So true. All right, Tanya B, you ready?
I guess so.
Speaking of gossip.
Now then, children, it's time for tea.
It's tea time, y'all. Sipping the tea with Tanya B.
All right, Tanya B, what you got? What you got?
You know, we talked about the Jay-Z thing. We don't talk about Puffy, but I will say that, you know, there are so many cases against him. I lost count. There's 3 more that came out this week. And you see that he's decided not to rescind his appeal. Appeals are expensive. And I think he finally realized, you know, played his last trump card, so to speak. He's not getting out of jail, and that's all there is to it. So, as Cat Williams said, hold on to your wigs. There will be more names revealed in 2025.
Wow.
And that's the reality of it. Don't forget, y'all, tonight Chris Rock will be hosting SNL. SNL has changed, and it's not what it was, never will be again. This is the 50th year. They're really trying to pull out all the big guns, even trying to get Eddie Murphy to come back again. But I want to see what Chris Rock has to say tonight, especially after the thing with him making the reference to people of Mexican descent. So I would see will he be funny? That remains to be seen.
But you know, it's interesting they paired him with Martin Short. Martin Short's on too, right, with him tonight?
Well, you know, they're bringing back every week. There's somebody from the past, past, if you will, that they're incorporating. So, you know, where's Tracy Morgan? You know, there are other people of color besides Chris, Eddie, you know, and God bless Kenan Thompson, you know, and some of the more high-profile people that we know. There were other black folks on this show.
So Garrett, go ahead.
He's the OG on that show.
Yeah.
He's the original OG. Where is hell is Garrett Morris? Why haven't they just give the man whatever he wants? He's 84, 85 years old. Give him what he wants and bring him back and give him his flowers.
But I do have one question though about Chris Rock and being on SNL. Is that why Will Smith dropped that single? Yes. Is that why he dropped a new single yesterday? I just ask it. Is he the musical guest too?
No, I forgot.
No, but Will Smith just dropped a new single, and it's good. It's actually good. It's animated video and all that. So I'm wondering the timing. I'm like, oh, okay.
You on it, right? But let me tell you.
Effing with Chris.
He's 2 steps away from being a preacher. So no, he's doing the church tour now. I call it the redemption tour. So we shall see. You know, this whole thing, you can make it, and okay, whatever.
I got you.
Okay, let me see. Jamie Foxx, I'll just be real quick. Okay. He said he had the visions of Diddy, and he talked a lot about it. People are giving him 5 on it. People are wondering if, I know this was taped in October. It came on earlier, last week, and people are wondering how he got a Golden Globe nomination so quickly. But Golden Globes, I call them the drunk people awards. People sit down, they drink, they talk smack, and they, you know, have a party. So I wonder how seriously people actually take a Golden Globe anymore. You know,
but you know, let me say this, and I don't know why we got feedback, but I want to say this about the Golden Globe. They have movies nominated, even the Academy Awards, they haven't even come out yet. So yeah, it's very likely. You know, people haven't even seen the movies and they're nominating the movies. So, you know, it's always about how much they spend for your consideration to these organizations to be nominated. Quite frankly, I'll be honest. That's why.
The one thing that got me about this whole Chris Rock stuff, and he's talking about, you know, he's always been grilled for only dating, you know, European women.
Jamie Foxx, yeah.
And nobody, he's being cured now after Katie Holmes. He only wants to date black women. Let's see how long that lasts. Or was that just a joke?
You know what? He said something funny after he said that. He said, I forgot what he said. He said he's done with white women for now.
But then he said in public.
In public. Exactly.
Except for Katie Holmes and the girl that they
That's
caught the
exactly fine.
He said in public.
He said in public.
And you had the girl, the blonde, when he had his stroke. You've never really seen him in public with anybody black. You've never really seen him in public with his baby mamas, and clearly they don't look like us. They're not like us.
Well, you have to look at his kids, and that's nothing against his kids. I'm just saying.
No,
yeah. But I will say this because I'll go ahead and give my 2 cents on the special, the Netflix special. It was very good. I mean, and that's the thing about Jamie Foxx. What Jamie brings that other comedians can't bring. He's so diverse musically. He's done so much. I mean, you look at the music he's done. You look at it's crazy that he's anti-Puffy, but he hadn't said a word about Kanye because the songs he did. You know what I'm saying? But I'll leave that alone. But the point is, it was really emotional when you sit there watching it, and the amount of times he shouted out Atlanta was just mind-boggling because Atlanta, and he kept saying, Atlanta saved my life. Piedmont Hospital. Yep. Go ahead.
No, you said it. Piedmont Hospital. And the Sheriff said they saved his life. They cracked his head and they saved his life.
So Piedmont Hospital may charge you a woof. They may charge you a rip.
He can afford it.
But you getting out. You leaving. Unlike a few, but I won't mention because I was born there. But I'll leave it at that. But I will say, I know they're coming for me. I'm not. Look, I ain't talking nothing because I was born there. I love Grady. Okay, especially the Grady curve. Okay, but I gotta say this, y'all. When it came down to the tears, do you think the tears were real?
Oh yeah, I said it was real. Man, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die.
Absolutely.
So even his daughter, when we were singing that song, when she left, you can see the tears coming out her eyes.
Yeah. It was emotional.
Yeah, it was almost. And when you come that close to death, I think it's real.
Yeah, it was emotional, man, and it was funny because you get a lot of his beliefs, and then he go back to cussing again. But it was really, you got the real him. And the funny thing he was talking about when he was sitting in the tunnel, and the tunnel was warm, and he said, "Am I in the right place?" He said, "I don't want to see the light. I want to see the light."
Then he looked down the light. Yeah, he looked down the hall and saw Diddy with the baby bottom.
It was. I mean, I don't want to give away too much, but if you haven't seen it, I mean, quite frankly, it's the funniest one I've seen in a while, and I'm glad he did it because there are people out there who still think he's cloned. They still think, yes. There's still people out there who feel like Jamie's gone and this is a clone. And it was funny because, he was doing it to be funny at the end. He was showing, hey, he was showing the movies he had done and things he'd done and where he was, where he'd been, and, talking about the clone thing. But I think he was also doing that to say, look, it's me. It's Jamie. It's not the clone. Go ahead, Bob. No, go ahead.
The most thing I got, which I've always felt like that since I came back from my deployment.
Yeah.
Life. If you living, if you got life and you got family, that's precious.
Yes.
That's precious. Life and family is precious. Nothing's more important than that. You got life and you got family. Enjoy.
Yeah. So true.
Don't take it for granted.
Throw it back to you, Tanya B.
I was going to say, I think that whole clone thing, he's just trying to remind people to help him return his investment on a movie he made called They Clone Tyrone. So I'll leave, I'm going to throw it to you. So leave, I know you got something. Come on.
No, I don't watch that. I don't have Netflix, so I can't really speak on this one at all. Yeah. Jamie Foxx is just one of those guys. Again, I've never really been a big fan, but I've liked a lot of his work. I think he is extremely talented, and he is somewhat funny. But when he used to start to get on the gay jokes, and how he looked in Prince's eyes, I was just like, let me turn this channel. You know what I mean? So, of course, I'm glad that he is in good health now. I never understood the fascination with the white girls, like in particular the ones he chose. You know what I mean? Like Katie Holmes.
But you got to keep in mind the dude's he's from Terrell, Texas, and a lot of that depends on who you grew up around and what your influences are, and depends on what high school. I mean, I will remember I was in Dallas when he was coming up, and he came to our station, and we had a guy, y'all know Russ Parr. Russ was doing mornings, and he was on Russ's show, and he was talking about Terrell, and all that, and how he grew up. And it was early in his career. He just started really coming off the Wanda Living Color thing. He wasn't a multi-million-dollar movie star. Right. So yeah, I tend to think it's probably how he was raised to look at him like that. So I believe that. What else you got, Tanya B? Because we got some other stuff to talk about. What other stories?
I talk about, there's a movie that's coming out in the spring of 2025. It's called, depending on how you look at it, it's called High and Low, or the highest and the lowest. It is a reinterpretation of a movie from the 60s. And ASAP Rocky, Rihanna's baby daddy, is the star of the movie. The co-star is Denzel. Don't know quite how that's going to work out, but anyway, it's based on a true story, and it's focused on, believe it or not, focused on the music industry. Denzel plays a music mogul and record label owner whose daughter is kidnapped by these bums that think they've kidnapped his son. So it's some of the Apple TV spring of 2025, Spike Lee joint, and Jeffrey writes in the movie. That's really interesting. I do enjoy his
Love
work.
that.
And
Love that dude.
Also the overrated slut rapper Ice Spice. Yes, I call her that. And what's interesting is A$AP Rocky, again, plays the son of a music mogul. But why they had to name his character Young Felon, I don't quite understand. They could have found 90,000 other names. But Young Felon just gives me a throwback to all my wasted tax dollars on this YSL case.
Yeah. So, but you know what? A$AP's a good actor. He really, I've seen him in a couple of things, and he's really good. I'm trying to think of the movie. It was a Netflix movie. But he was in it, and his character. He really did a good job. But the thing I like about what Spike's doing, Spike has done, because he studied film. Okay. So this is a Japanese film, just like he did Old Boy. If you're familiar with the Spike Lee movies, Old Boy, one of my favorite directors, Takahashi Mike. It's a graphic, brutal movie. The original. He did Old Boy, remade it. So he's remaking another Japanese director, which I don't know if I get the pronunciation. Is Kurosawa is the last name. Akira Kurosawa. And the novel was in 1959, because he did the original movie based on the 1959 novel. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's, because I like that part of Spike. If y'all remember, what was the movie where he did with Clyde, the bank heist movie with Denzel? Inside Man.
Oh yeah.
Inside Man doesn't even compare to another Spike Lee movie. It's so different. So I'm looking forward to this. I think if you know Inside Man, it kind of feels like it's going to be more like Inside Man, which is really an excellent Spike movie. So go ahead.
No, this will be the first time that Spike and Denzel will work since Inside Man. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes out. We know Denzel's doing Gladiator 2. He's doing Broadway, and he apologized to Ryan Coogler because he spilled the beans on the next Black Panther.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. A24 as a production company does really good work. They do weird movies. They do horror movies. So it's going to be interesting to see how weird this movie is going to be. It's not going to be a horror movie, but it's going to be
High and Low, no, isn't. It'll be interesting just to see how they'll take it from in the original from '63. Instead of Denzel being a music mogul in that movie, that character was a person that owned like a shoe company. So it'll be how they take it and reinterpret it will be interesting. But Spike Lee usually does it. I think there's some hits and some misses, and hopefully this will be a hit. And, Denzel keeps saying he's thinking about retiring, but every time he says he's going to retire, he picks up a new project. So I think that once he feels comfortable with his children taking over the reins, I think he'll just kind of sit back and just, say,
well, if you can appreciate that Tarantino trash, you can love Spike Lee. I'm gonna leave it at that. That's my little controversial line for the day, because I can't, here we go. For multiple reasons, but I used to the early stuff, but no. What else you got, Tanya B? Go ahead.
Quick, I know we talked about how Flavor Flav was tossed out of the Rockefeller Center the Christmas tree lighting. And it's really crazy because NBC did hire him to do social media. Now, he got there late. The overzealous rent-a-cop had no idea who he was, and they go to throw him out. Now, to me, NBC pulled a mussy move, because instead of saying, we're sorry, we apologize to Flav, they made the Today Show, which had little to do with the Christmas tree lighting, except they were present, had the Today Show issue an apology and invite Flavor Flav to come on the Today Show. I'm like, really? What? That was a wuss move to me.
Yeah, I mean, I like what Flav is doing. As a matter of fact, Flav is on Blue Sky.
Yeah, he's
like a lot. He is like the tour guide. When you come in, you see, if you follow Flav on Blue Sky, he recommends who you should be following. he has like his list of, Blue Sky has this thing where you can create these lists and you can basically post it, and if someone like clicks it, they can just follow everybody on the list automatically. So he'll make his recommended list, and he'll say, hey, here are the news people you should follow, here are the entertainment people you should follow. I mean, Spike is really, Flav. Yeah, Flav and his whole game in terms of his involvement with the Olympics, his investment in the Olympic team, he really is, becoming like Snoop
Jr. Yeah. I mean, it's a great way to reinvent yourself, for sure.
Well, he used to be the clown, the clock clown kind of a public enemy, but and he can still have that element to his game. But I'm glad to see, his influence and his contributions. He's being recognized. Go ahead, Talib.
I was living in Vegas when Flav opened his fried chicken restaurant, and it was actually right down the street from the Sam Ash where I was working over by by UNLV. Mm-hmm. And I went there. I was there for the grand opening. I probably ate there at least twice a week. I really wish Flav would get back to the chicken.
Wow.
Would that answer my question? Chicken was good.
I mean, exactly, it was primo. I like the fact that Flav has been able to stay. I hate the word relevant, but Flav has been able
to remain plugged in.
Yes, plugged in, definitely. Whoever his agent is working hard, because Flav always had the job, and I love that. Even with the Flavor of Love thing, you know what I mean? I watched it because it was Flav.
Yeah.
I don't watch reality TV on a regular basis, but I used to love to. When we see somebody that we want to see more of, we have to throw support behind it, even if content is kind of questionable. So,
but I'll say this, and I want to move on to the next thing to leave, but I do want to say this about Flav, man. He's a smart cat. I mean, he really truly is talented. He's even musically. I didn't know he was like what do you call him, a prodigy.
Yeah, he's comforting in it, really.
Yes. So it's like when you get into Flav's background, and you used to seeing him run around with the clock. Yeah. He and Chuck wrote all that stuff, but he really, he's a smart guy, man. He knows what he's doing. He understands the business. He understands exactly what he's doing.
Truly.
Yeah.
And there was one time where I actually met Flav at the NAMM show.
Yep.
And he was, I think it was at either Korg's booth, or Casio's booth. And they were like, come on, play, why don't you sit down and play for a while? Yo, the dude rocked for about 10 minutes straight, man, off the top of the head. And he was all over the ivories. I was amazed. You know what I mean?
Flav is the truth, man. I'm glad that's coming out, though, Talib, before. Typically it's like after they're gone. But I'm glad it's going out while he's still here, because he ain't no young dude.
Yeah, and you know what? People may have known of his talents, but it's like, no, you're going to be the crazy clock guy that smokes weed and gets in trouble and does these crazy reality TV shows. I wonder now if his talent was suppressed because it was easier to make money off of the buffoonery image. Let's just call it a thing.
The court jester. I like to call him the court jester of PE. We'll call him. Be light on him. Hey, but go ahead. Last word.
I couldn't get into it. I'm looking at play with one person that loves something. Damn, really?
Oh no!
A lot of people, Bob. You like many. Don't worry.
But I like Flav.
Yeah, you like Flav. Yeah, you're right.
I like Flav, but I just didn't think it was believable. I said, no, that's not.
Miss New York. What's the other basketball player? What was the girl? What was her name? I forgot. The one he actually went with, but I digress. Hoops was the one. Hey, y'all. But I want to skip politics this week, man, because I think we as a group are in that generation where we can really appreciate a lot of the stuff that's hidden right now. Because I want to talk about music for a minute. I recall, like in the 4th grade, somebody bringing me a friend, the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road album. And I took it home and I listened to it. I'm like, damn, it was like eye opening for me. And I can remember, and I was a huge fan of Casey Kasem, American Top 40. I grew up on that. So hearing, that's where I would discover a lot of music. So I would discover stuff like, Hey 19 and Peg, Steely Dan, the whole Steely Dan movement. And for many of y'all don't remember because there are radio stations that were country stations that became disco stations that transitioned from disco before they became urban. They were playing a lot of this. You'd hear Hey 19 Peg on a BLS or, I'm not saying like a Kiss or a V103 in Atlanta, or you'd hear, some of the stuff that came like from that transition period between disco and what they call urban. Vi and I can relate to being in college and hearing Bad Boy Having a Party. And the floor where everybody would pack with Luther. Oh, yeah.
I think I crossed over that.
That's what I'm saying. So these music documentaries that are dropping, you've got the Luther documentary, Tanya B, you talked about last week. That drops for the public on broadcast on CNN New Year's Day, and it'll be available.
Yeah,
New Year's Day. Then you've got the Elton John new documentary that drops. That comes out today as we tape on Disney Plus, so that's available. And then, something I didn't talk about, but I'm crazy about Yacht Rock. And let me tell you, before y'all say, nigga, you like Yacht Rock.
No, I loved it.
But let me tell you, because all that music that Yacht Rock played, black stations were playing a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, the blue eye song.
But it was like, you would hear Steely Dan, you'd hear, go ahead. Boss Skaggs.
Anything with Michael McDonald, because he got his pass, and he still got his pass of the picnic. Okay.
Yes. But the HBO documentary is on Max and HBO Yacht Rock, and I'm telling you, because the Yacht Rock title just came, really, comedians made that up in 2005. It's not really a genre that we referred to back in the day. It was just the music that came out of the 70s and 80s. So, you think about what? Player, Baby Come Back, and Virtue, You're the Biggest Part of Me. The black stations were playing. We were hearing that. So Yacht Rock is out. But the crazy thing when I was watching the documentary, which again, it's out now, is hearing like Toto. You remember Toto, Georgie Porgy, Africa. Yeah, Cheryl Lynn was on the Georgie Porgy song. Most of the Thriller album is Toto.
Yeah.
The musicians, the guy, I mean, the Toto guy, I think his last name is pronounced Paish. He wrote Human Nature.
And Steve, no, that was Steve Picaro. Remember, he wrote it about this kid that was bullying his daughter.
Picaro.
The Picaro brothers,
But he's from Toto.
Yeah, all of them are.
And they came from, they did the stuff for Steely Dan. They did the music. It's just like listening and sitting there, hearing them talk about all these studio musicians that did work for everybody, and how Quincy Jones went over and said, I just want all y'all to come over and do this album.
Do everything. You know,
and they did all the music. It's just amazing. Have you seen it yet? Have you seen the Yacht Rock documentary yet?
I watched it 3 times over Thanksgiving weekend. Let me say another thing. I did. I'm like, but what's interesting is all of the people that look like us, again, that will say, like, I was listening to this music, I didn't know. And it's also, I think it's a teachable moment, because like I said, the guys from Toto were a group of studio musicians who became a band, who were told they never make it.
Yep.
When I saw John, I said, that's just white folk music that black folk like.
Yeah, but it's just amazing though, Vi, when you look at the 70s and the 80s, because I do believe, and I say this to people all the time, we're fortunate to have been brought up and raised on the music that we were raised on. I look at that. I look every day when I go back and I hit my Apple Music, and I'm going through and I'm listening and I'm looking at these tracks, and let me tell you, I met Michael McDonald maybe about 5 years ago. He was performing in Peachtree City here in the Atlanta metro area, and his son was opening up for him, right? So he was just happening to be standing backstage. I was around, and I walk up. I said, "Damn, you Michael McDonald?" He said, "Yeah, cool as hell." And we just started talking about the music. He was talking about his son. His son was doing kind of an alt rock kind of thing. And he said, man, I'm just here to support him. They got to make the mistakes. I let him make his mistakes. He's on the road with me. I know what he's doing. But it was just so cool how this guy was. Because here's a guy who worked Patty on My Own, who did iconic freaking Doobie Brothers Minute by Minute, and taking it to the streets, all that shit I listened to as growing up, and a little chubbier, a lot grayer, but just cool as hell, and work with Quincy, how well they knew Quincy and how well they work with Quincy. And, it's just amazing. It was just mind blowing, the impact that it had on just building that Thriller album. Flav, you had your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's funny because, I was born in 1970, so I first got a little transistor type radio about 76, and I used to listen to. I guess it could be considered yacht rock, but at that time it was considered AM gold.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I didn't even discover FM radio until 1980.
But Talib, let me say this: a lot of us, and when I say us, black people, we were basically, and I hate to say slave, but we were a slave to what we could get.
Yeah.
And if you couldn't get the FM, if you weren't in a major city, if you were in a smaller town, or if you were a kid like me, I listened. There was a station here that played that light rock stuff that was coming out. So I would hear it on the AM station with the big signal, because the other signal on most of the urban stations, or back then the soul stations, were not on FM. When I was growing up, they were on AM. Right. So, a lot of these AMs, and the term, they were daytimers. So by day, they were gone. When the sun went down, you got nothing. So you had to turn on the FM. You had to find us. You're absolutely right, Talib. We were really stuck with what we could get, and we just listened to it, and we eventually. But I'm just fascinated, because it's not really, I mean, the yacht rock genre. The other thing I'm more fascinated with is how much these guys love the music. They truly loved what they were doing. When you talk to or Kenny Loggins, or you hear Kenny Loggins talk about he hated people pushing him into smooth jazz, saying that, you know, he was just, you know, trying to use the black culture to be. He said, man, that's all I know. He said, I grew up on Stevie.
Right.
You know, it's like, you know, my influence, a lot of these guys were influenced because they love black music, so that's all they played.
Hey, look, man, I just want to say,
I can't hate them for that.
No, my favorite actually was Christopher Cross.
Oh, Sailing. Oh, hell yeah.
Sailing, Ride Like the Wind. I mean,
Yeah, Ride Like the Wind.
I mean, the Mike and the Mechanics, Dire Straits. I mean, you know, what I grew up on was quality music. And, you know, because my dad was a musician. My dad played percussion, African percussion, been recording since the 50s. My mom was a dancer. So, you know, my grandmother would wake us up every Saturday morning to Elvira and Elvis Presley. You know, I mean, like, you know.
But real quick, Talib, I want to say this to you, man. What was the first song you mentioned? You mentioned Christopher Cross, right?
Yeah. I said Ride Like the Wind.
Oh, probably.
Which one?
Ride Like the Wind.
Ride Like the Wind, Sailing, all that. He's on there, and I'm not going to tell you what he said and how he talks about writing, but if you have not seen, you know what I'm saying, Tanya B. I'm not going to give it away. You should watch it for that.
Okay.
But I think you'll love it, man. It's just honestly, you watch it 3 times, Tanya B?
3 times over Thanksgiving weekend, yes, 3 times. But let me just drop this in. If you want to, if you go to YouTube, there's an amazing concert. It's called the Dukes of September. It's a tour. It is Michael McDonald, Boss Skaggs, and Donald Fagen. You want to talk about hit on hits, and they all sound. Damn, they sound good.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. When I was about Doc, I said, Yacht Rock, where was that? I ain't never heard no Yacht Rock. I just like the music, but I never heard the Yacht Rock term until I saw the documentary.
The Yacht Rock thing was a bunch of comedians in 2005 just did a little thing. They were playing kind of how do you call it? It was a parody of that sound, so they called it Yacht Rock just to to give it a name, Okay. But hey, y'all check it out. I mean, I'm not here. I got no skin in the game. I don't work for HBO, but damn, it just brings it all home. If you grew up around it and you grew up on it, it's just like, oh wow. I was just sitting there like the whole thing, just walking like, oh damn.
Yeah, that's why I kept watching it again.
It just gave me another playlist to play. I said, I can put Yacht Rock.
Hey, you know what? I can't if I say it, my you know what may go off, but my favorite is Yacht Rock Essentials when I'm in the car, when I'm stressed. Yeah. Can you play Yacht Rock Essentials? All right, y'all.
Glad to know that.
There you go. All right, y'all. Hey, love your thoughts, man. Go to the castropolis.net. Won't be finished till after the first of the year, but the QR code on all of our recordings is there. You can choose the people poll. You can leave, your voicemail, do what you need to do there. And don't forget, support the podcast. Do basically whatever you can. We appreciate it. But we'll be back after the first of the year. The tapings begin again on January 11th. We'll be back. We're on Blue Sky. We'll still be posting on social media between now and that time. But check us out and make sure you support. Tanya B, thank you so much for everything you do. Make sure you have. And Tanya B, real quick, in 1 minute, what are you cooking?
Today or for the holidays?
What's kind of the general holiday menu for you?
It's everything. Well, we're starting this weekend. We're starting with stuffed salmon with crab meat, spinach, and shrimp. And then next weekend I'll do all Christmas Eve appetizers, basically seafood based and somewhat healthy, some not. And then for Christmas we're doing traditional Christmas dinner with the turkey and the stuffing and the candied yams. I already got my greens, the traditional, my 6, 7, 8 mac and cheese. And then again for New Year's Eve, we'll be doing seafood boil, and that'll be lobster, clam, shrimp, crab, and whatever else I make. And I've got this great new recipe, y'all. Howard, are you listening? Cornbread.
Hey, don't send it to us. Send it to us. But what's it called? What's it called?
Cornbread biscuits, and I got sweet potato cornbread. Baby.
Talib, go with your shout outs, man.
All right. So my first one is in loving memory of Linda Duval Headley, my older sister, who passed away on Monday. Unfortunately, I've lost both of my older sisters now. So, definitely rest in peace to her. Wanted to say what's up to Regia Shabazz. It's been a little over a year since I've been here with the This Is the G podcast crew, and I definitely have her to thank for it. So I wanted to acknowledge that. And I also wanted to say that there is a documentary on Tubi now called Welcome to the A. It was done for the 50th anniversary of hip hop. And it was on Peachtree TV, but they've now moved it over to Tubi. 12 episodes. I'm in about 5 of them, so I want everybody to go and check that out.
Check it out.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm on Tubi.
Tanya B, shout outs. What you got?
I got, this is your girl, Tanya B., your host and curator from The Birdwire, also a member of the gang of This Is the G podcast. And from my home to yours, I wish everyone the best blessed season greetings. Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year. Call somebody you love and tell them that you love them. And also want to send a shout out to everybody who supports this podcast, that supports The Birdwire. Special shout out to my sisters, Darla B and A B in the DMV, and all the independent artists that I love to support on The Birdwire.
Good stuff.
Icebuck.
Did you get the Christmas song?
Talib, again, thank you so much, man, for everything you do. Vi, thank you so much for everything you do, y'all. And with that, episode 249 is in the can. Appreciate y'all, man. Peace and power to the people. Y'all have a good holiday.
Season greetings. Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad, and Happy Kwanzaa.